Okay, now we're going to talk about integers. And integers are a type just like a string is a type, right? So we can have a variable whose type is a integer or a variable whose type is a string. Let's talk about the integers. So here I have listed in this commented out code all the different types of integers. This is just kind of as a reference for you. And so for example, let's say we want to create a integer for dog name. So we'll specify that it's an int, and we've got to make sure it's lowercase there. We're going to say dog name equals 42. And Swift is happy. That's completely valid code. Now integers are numbers, but they're specifically whole numbers. So 42.5 is going to raise an error for us, right? And they can also be negative numbers. So as long as it's a whole number, that's okay. Now if you specify an unsigned integer, that means you can't have any negative values. Right, so you see 42 is okay, but as soon as we add the negative, we get the error. So, unsigned and just regular int. There's also these different sizes. You can have 8 through 64, and the documentation is pretty clear that you shouldn't be specifying or using anything other than int unless you absolutely have to. Even if you know that you're going to have a positive only value, you should not use unsigned int. You should use int unless you specifically need it, because this is going to help your code work with other people's code. It's just kind of the standard that they're setting. And again, with the different sizes, you shouldn't, as much as possible, be saying int 64 or int 8. If you just use the plain old int, it will use your system's best value. So if you're on a 32-bit system, it's going to use int 32. And if you're on a 64-bit system, we'll use int 64. So this is maybe a little bit too much details for ints. Again, use just the int type as much as possible. But remember, we normally shouldn't have to do this type annotation, right? With Swift, we just say dog name equals 42, and it's going to infer that dog name should be a int, and we're on our way. So maybe a little bit of overkill, but it's good to get to know all the different parts of an integer.